Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I will feature here an interview. So I will have about 4 parts of an interview conducted by Die Welt, a German media outlet, with the Prime Minister of Hungary, the great Viktor Orban. Now he has the presidency of the European Commission, which is not really a decision maker or decision making body. Is just the one that tries to connect leaders and has make statements and so on. Nevertheless, he needs a mandate to go and speak in the name of the European Union. Mr. Orban, if you remember, he went and visited Ukraine, met with Zelensky, went then to Moscow, met with Putin, and then went to China, met with Xi Jinping, then went to Washington, D.C. and met with NATO leaders. I didn't use the title of president of none of the persons I enumerated, which is Zelensky, Putin, Xi Jinping, and the leaders in Washington, D.C., because it takes too long. But I will point out how this Weasel interviewer from Der Bild is conducting his interview. Misleading, hiding, lying by omission, I would say, giving interpretations that are not there, and if we don't know the historical facts, he would just fly. No. Viktor Orban is not an imbecile, and he's gonna smack this guy around. I watched the whole interview. I'm not gonna play the whole interview. I'm gonna play probably a total of about 5 minutes of the whole interview, and I said, as I said, there will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 will be 6 little parts. So let me just get back. I'm working with the OBS again, so I'm trying to figure things out here. I haven't been working with it because you see my setting is narrowed down because it has a wide lens and blah blah blah. I don't want you to see certain things here. So this is the video, and look how this, so pay attention not at the body language, look how the interviewer, who is this guy right here, Paul Rosheimer. So Mr. Paul Rosheimer, I couldn't find if he's really what I think he is, and I went over the Wikipedia page, and I'm gonna show you some interesting things about this fantastic, supposedly, what was the definition? Journalist. Yes, journalist. So let's start with the video. Let's start with the first one. It's minute 14:36, and here it is. Let me see how I get there. Ready, set, go. Oh, I wanna.
Arguing in favor not about who is right and who is not, because my target is peace and ceasefire.
The argument I hear from the Ukrainian side and also from NATO people and...
This AI tool will...
Excellent, as we always want these guys to show up, but nevertheless we have to make
a complete book, complete with design, images.
The European side is, even if there would be a ceasefire now and Putin would accept that, let's say, the lines how they are right now, that his strategy would be to rebuild his army and to attack again in 2, 3, 4, 5 years. So They would argue, we tried it with Minsk, and after Minsk, the full invasion of Ukraine happened 7 years later.
Did you catch that? All right. He said they tried with Minsk. Who's that? Who tried with Minsk? And then it failed. Minsk failed because this weasel is going to make the point that it failed because of Putin. So he said they tried with Minsk. That's a lie. They didn't try with Minsk. You get Angela Merkel, you have Hollande, the president of France, who were part of the deal in the Minsk agreements. And they were the guarantors, the Germans and the French, that everything that's in the Minsk agreement 1 and 2, I'm talking about the 2, 2015, will be implemented. That went to United Nations and became international law. So if you violate that, you violate international law. And there were certain steps. And then Putin, supposedly he broke that, even though, you know, Zelensky said that he doesn't agree with anything in the Minsk agreements. That's what he said. Not Putin, the other guys. I heard many times Lavrov saying, let's go back to the Minsk agreements, follow the Minsk agreements. No, Zelensky said, I don't like anything about it. You can find that online. So he is lying, that weasel. Then I would like to point out that that weasel, the whatever, Paul Rosheimer, he is never using the term or the title president when he refers to Vladimir Putin, the president of the Russian Federation. But he uses president when refers to Zelensky Stein. Okay? So that's the first clip. You say, what the hell? No, it's not the Minsk. I said, the Minsk was not broken by the Russians. The Minsk was broken by some other forces. All right, let's go to the second video, ready right here. Let's go.
You met Putin for several hours. What do you think is his real goal right now? Is it the same as it was at the beginning of the war, when he wanted, you know, to conquer Kiev, wanted...
Did you hear that? You met Putin for several hours. Are his goals the same as, you know, taking Kiev and, you know, going further? And he mentioned Zelensky. He said, wanted Zelensky to flee or to kill him. That's a lie. That's a lie. Remember, and I'm not done with this little clip here. Remember, Bennett was the prime minister of Israel at that time. And he was in Moscow when the Russians started the invasion, the operation. And if you remember, Bennett asked Putin on 2 occasions during the same meeting if he's going to kill Zelensky. And Putin 2 times said no. No. And he said, promise, 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 I'm not going to kill Zelensky. So again, this weasel is lying. Putin did not have intention of killing that guy. I think he could have done it. But hey, you switch from a garbage to another garbage. Different faces, the same, you know, content. So he's lying. And then Bennett, when he left Putin, on his way to the airport to fly back to wherever he was flying, he called Zelensky Stein, who was in a bunker, if you remember, at that time, scared to death, all right, over there. And he told Zelensky Stein that Putin said he's not going to do that to you. And Zelensky asked, I covered that in a video, so you can go and watch it. And Zelensky said, are you sure? Are you sure? And this guy says, yes, he promised me. And then in 2 hours after that, Zelensky Stein showed up and he gave a speech saying, we are not afraid, I'm not afraid. So that's Zelensky Stein for you. And this weasel right here, who I suspect he is one of those guys, he's saying that Putin wants to kill him, wants to take Kiev. I think that Russia could have taken or flattened Kiev when they got to Kiev. They retreated, not because they were pushed back. They were not like, oh my God, big war over there. But again, you have to find the evidence. And the evidence is there, 2 clicks away. This guy is lying. So let's go back to the same clip and see what this guy is saying.
To flee or to kill him or to change the government. What was on the table when you talked to him?
In Europe, we regularly considered it a little bit too complicated. What is the real intention? What the Russians said clearly. So we're overcomplicating the things here. Putin regularly...
So Putin says, Russia says clearly what their goals are, not the ones that you mentioned. And he's going to say, we had many chances, and these guys in the European Union, they had many chances to see what the Russians said their goals are. When they say, well, they attacked unprovoked, go and check it out. Now let's continue to see, watch Viktor Orban answer.
Speeches. Sometimes they produce documents. I follow that. Even I read the documents. Even they had negotiation documents to the Ukrainians in 2022 April about how the negotiations could be run and concluded and so on. There are documents. And there are speeches. So we should take more seriously. That's the reason why I suggest to all the European leaders direct information, direct communication, diplomacy. If we don't use that, we will not understand what's going on.
Well, they would argue at the beginning of the war, they tried it. Before the war started, they tried it. We all saw.
They tried. Who the hell tried? It was the Russians who tried. They would argue they tried. Who tried? Who are the ones, and I'm going to come back to the video, to the clip, who tried to get engaged the NATO, the Americans into, hey, we need security guarantees. Who said that? Let's talk about it. Those guys are violating Minsk agreement. Let's talk. What the other guy said is nothing to talk about it. No, we're gonna have troops in Ukraine, and Ukraine will be part of NATO. You can't do anything about it. And the Russians argued, wait a minute. Arming a country destabilized the whole region. What do you think we will do? We're supposed to just sit like that? That's one of the things. And he said, wait, how about the Ukrainians being neutral? You are in there with CIA, you have trainers, you have weapons. What are you talking about? And the West Americans said, no, we're not going to talk to you. What are you going to do? And the Russians invaded unprovoked. And this guy, again, is lying because he thinks that we don't know history or the events. They tried it, he says.
Macron on the telephone with Vladimir Putin just before the war started. Scholz was there negotiating.
That was after they said no. After the Americans says no. When they went over there, it was after. They went over there and they tried. They tried what? They didn't want to talk to the Russians. They said no, Ukraine is ours. Or it's ours, it's theirs, let's put it this way.
Even after the war, they were on regularly phone calls, but it seemed to be that they saw it doesn't make sense.
It was 2 years ago. Now we're in a war for more than 2.5 years.
All right, so this is the second clip. We're got another one. And remember, this guy, because at the end of this video, I will show you who that guy really is. And he's promoted and with a lot of esteem. He's a great journalist. Well, wait, we're not done here.
They are rational. They are hyper-rational. Well,
but if you look at how was it rational? Sorry to interrupt, but how was it rational to attack Kiev? I mean, in 2022, when you say the Russians are rational, then everybody would say, well, this was a rational thing to do, was it?
It was a miscalculation, and being irrational is two different things. Irrational means to do madness. Miscalculation, to do some mistake, calculation.
Did you hear, Orban? And the guy needs to drink because that's a sign of stress. That's what it is when you drink all the time. You have the little bottle with you and you're stressed as fuck. Not you're thirsty and whatever. Well, maybe you are thirsty. So what's going on here? So he is irrational attacking Kiev. They went to Kiev, right? Attacking is a different thing. They went to Kiev. They could have, I think, just destroy Kiev. And they can do it right now as well if they want. They got the possibility, the means. And then again, he's irrational. And then what did Orban say? Well, irrationality is a different thing than miscalculation. So, and the baboon said what? Let me drink something. Let me get busy with something. All right, let's go to the next clip. Right here. I think they talk about Donald Trump if Orban likes Trump and Trump is clearing and is going to make peace and all that. So again, weasel questions, but hey, necessary.
Did you tell the Ukrainian president when you met him in Kiev
that
you would meet Putin? And was he in favor?
I haven't informed anybody prior to my meetings.
Did you hear? Ukrainian president, because Zelensky, as you know, he's Ukrainian and a little better than the Ukrainians, I think, kind of Ukrainian, and the president of Ukraine and Putin. Do you think that he made this mistake because it's his first day on the job? I don't think so. He's just trying to, if you don't like the guy, just give the respect of the office. But hey, what can you do? And he calls Putin this and that. And all right, let's go to the next clip. All right, what do we have here? Right.
That's the reason I have a big trust.
I know many Ukrainians who are very afraid that Trump becomes president and just gives Putin what he wants.
He is not that kind of man.
I know many Ukrainians. Well, I know many Ukrainians who think otherwise. How about that as a counter? But hey, it comes with this little media technique when they say, some say, many people say, okay, how many? As I said many times, how many? So I should know if I should bother. You're not going to satisfy all of them. For all of you guys, ice cream, vanilla ice cream. Oh my God, we like chocolate. Oh, I like pistachios. No, you're never going to satisfy them all, right? But nevertheless, they come, hey, how many? How many? Many of them. No, Ukrainians. How many? Give me a percentage. Tell me the names. See if I care. I mean, if it's like 0.001% and you tell me oh, I should care about that, and what about the other ones? I mean, if I satisfy the 0.01%, I dissatisfy the 99 point whatever percent. Isn't that crazy? This is how these guys are formulating their questions. And he said he's not that kind of man. And he's not. All right, so this is about Trump. And we're going to go to the next clip. And here it is. What I'm talking about here, this Weasel reporter, whatever he is, he asks Viktor Orban, Prime Minister Viktor Orban, what he thinks about Scholz and Angela Merkel, the former chancellor. And he says that if the war would have, that was the question, if he thinks that the war would have started, if Orban thinks that the war would have started, if Angela Merkel would be around. And Orban says, no. Why? And he said, because she's understanding this and she's better than Scholz. It doesn't say Scholz, but she builds Angela Merkel's, head over here. But my question is no, and my counter would be no, because Angela Merkel was part of the Minsk agreement too, and she was supposed to be the guarantor. And if you remember with that interview that she gave, she said, we knew with the Minsk agreements, we just bought time for Ukraine to arm. So she was a bitch too, all right? So I think here Orban is just diplomatic, or he doesn't know that piece of information, which I doubt. Viktor Orban talks about here as well as if this guy asks, oh, why would you want to talk to Putin? Putin is a war criminal. Putin is blah, 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 blah. And he explains why you need to talk with people because, and it's a very interesting interview. Orban gives some very intelligent answers. But let's go to see when this guy is going to ask his stupid question, if I remember correctly. We have done. We escalated it. But we tried with Minsk, and he said, no, that's your understanding. We tried with Minsk. So the bad guy was Putin, who just violated everything. And we tried. And the guy said, no, that's your understanding, and the way you want to portray it. And the Weasel did not come back with anything. Why? Because Orban knows. So, my friends, not knows. Here it is, a very revealing way of how these guys conduct interviews. And this guy was mild. So let's look at his past and see his achievements and how important this guy is. Remember, this is the guy, Paul Ronsheimer. Here it is. I have a suspicion. Right here, let me put is a German journalist and author of several and serves as the deputy editor-in-chief. He's in chief. He was born in 85, 95, 2005, 2015, 2025. So he's what, 29? 20, what, born in July. 28? He's going to be 29? That's the guy over there. I'm sorry, 86, 96, 2006, 2016, 39. 39. That's the guy. He's author and serves as deputy editor-in-chief and a war and crisis correspondent for Bild. Additionally, he is the cross-brand journalistic face of Axel Springer. Important, because Axel Springer is a German multinational mass and online media company based in Berlin, Germany. The company offers printing and publishing. So that's the parent, owned by. Go and check it out. Now we have here. Life doesn't tell us much, beep, 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 doesn't tell me what I want to know, and this is it. Let's see what this guy got. So he's, in May 2022, the weekly newspaper Die Zeit referred to Ronsheimer as one of the most globally renowned war reporters. That guy. In 2022, prior to the awarding of the German Television Award, several voices criticized that despite his widely received coverage, he was not on the shortlist for Journalist of the Year. So they said, no, oh my God, he needs to be over there. Right? In 2023, he was awarded Journalist of the Year 2022 by the trade journal Medium magazine. In 2024, his weekly podcast has been nominated for the German Podcast Award. In March 2024, he conducted one of the first interviews of the year with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, which he has been quoted internationally. In April, he conducted a world-exclusive interview with Volodymyr Zelensky about the Russian offensive in Ukraine war. Awards right here. So this is the guy, my friends. This is the guy. Oh, I was on the wrong thing here. I didn't see that. Why didn't you see that? Right, you didn't see what I was reading, the Wikipedia. But what can you do? You have to believe me, I guess. Correct? Well, it seems like. Okay. So, this is it, my friends. As of now, we have this kind of a reality when these guys are making the how do you call it? This news for us. And he is, why I couldn't get that thing. I'm not going to work on it right now. Nevertheless, go and read his Wikipedia page and you're going to find what I just read for you. So, thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.